Olympic champion.
So how long does that fight last?
Listen, my opinion, it's 1 round.
Some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Anthony by murder.
By murder?
Yes.
Golly.
Might knock his head off a little bit. Like, it might be special effect, but it might, like, go out.
Like legit?
Boxing icons give their views on the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua match. Usyk says this fight will end in 1 round because he has met Joshua twice and he knows the strength Joshua brings. Usyk thinks this event is mainly for money and nothing here offers real worth to the sport. He feels Joshua needs only 1 clean chance to show the huge gap in power. For Usyk, this is not a real contest, but a fast finish, and he sees Jake walking into a challenge far beyond his level.
About AJ taking that fight. Obviously, it's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Do you see something wrong with AJ taking that fight?
This is just a lot of money. It's just a show.
Right.
This is not interesting sport because, guys, brothers, Anthony, it's Olympic champion.
Right.
Jake, it's just sportsman. Yeah, YouTuber. Jake do a lot of work.
Right.
Special coach, special food, a lot of exercise, new.
Yes.
But this is guy don't have a mother fights.
Right.
Never
Right.
a mother fights. Maybe them wrestling now professional, but Joshua, Anthony Joshua, it's Olympic champion.
So how long does that fight last?
Listen, my opinion, it's 1 round because Anthony twice, my fight twice, jab.
Very hard.
Yeah, look. You know, this is
And still from his fight.
this jab.
Tyson Fury takes a completely different angle and gives one of the boldest predictions in the whole debate. He claims that Jake Paul will knock out Joshua, a comment that surprises many because it goes against most expert views. Fury says Jake is getting bigger, training with heavier loads, and turning into a stronger fighter. He sees Jake's growth as impressive and believes momentum can sometimes matter more than experience. Fury is known for making unexpected remarks, but this time he insists that Jake's confidence and current rise could create an outcome almost no one expects. He sees Jake not as just an online star, but as someone who has put real effort into serious training. Fury's prediction stays controversial, yet it brings a new layer to the conversation because it comes from someone who knows heavyweight boxing better than almost anyone.
Using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look.
Teddy Atlas looks at the matchup from a strategic angle instead of emotion or fan pressure. He recognizes the huge power Joshua brings, but he also says Jake Paul is not walking in without his own strengths. Atlas explains that Jake has youth working for him, and younger fighters often recover faster, move with more ease, and take chances older boxers avoid. He adds that Jake's footwork has improved a lot, giving him movement that could trouble Joshua if he overlooks it. For Atlas, every fight has 2 sides, and this one follows the same rule. Joshua has size, experience, and a long technical background, but Jake carries certain qualities that should not be ignored. Continuing his breakdown, Atlas focuses on how Jake's mindset could help him. Jake is still early in his journey, which means he fights with hunger and has not faced the mental fatigue many veterans deal with. Atlas points out that Joshua performs best when he keeps control of distance. But Jake's faster feet and willingness to jump into exchanges could open small chances. Those chances may be limited, but they are real. And Atlas believes that this alone means Jake should not be counted out completely. His point is not that Jake will win, but that Jake has enough strength to be viewed as a real factor.
While we look at all the advantages that Joshua has, let's look at how I look at where maybe Paul has some advantages. He's younger. His feet are a little faster. I know he's not at that level of a fighter, I get it, but his feet are faster. Joshua's feet are not that fast, closing gaps, getting to somebody. To hit him, even if you're better than him, you still got to get to him to hit him. Also, Joshua, last time he fought was over a year. He hasn't fought He was basically retired. Where's his mind at? He got knocked out terribly by Dubois. Where's his confidence? Where's his mindset? Where is he? Is he taking this fight the way that fans are, overlooking Paul, taking him for granted? Yeah, it probably is. Might be. Does that weigh in? Yeah, that weighs in. People don't look at those parts of it. And the weight. Paul's smart. He always puts clauses in there. I know this is the first time he's fighting a guy who's bigger than him and all that stuff, but he put in a 245-pound weight, clause where he can't come in over 245. What is Joshua weighing? He was off over a year. He was basically retired. Was he 280? Was he 290? Was he 275? Easily could be the case. He didn't have a lot of time now to get to 245. How does that affect him? Oh, we forgot about that. It's a little thing, but it's not that little. It's the thing that Paul put there for a reason. Again, Paul hasn't made too many mistakes. He's been pretty damn...
Lamont Roach speaks with a mix of respect for boxing and real concern about what could happen if Anthony Joshua faces Jake Paul with full intent. He does not view this matchup as even because Joshua's natural power and technical background create a level of threat Jake has never faced. Roach explains that Joshua does not need heavy combinations for things to become serious. One focused punch from Joshua could change the fight instantly, especially with the difference in size and experience. He emphasizes that the kind of heavyweight force Joshua carries is not something a former influencer can handle without risk, and the gap in their physical abilities could put Jake in real danger.
But I get it. Coming from a guy who's not a true traditional boxer, and to be able to have a position where he can fight a former unified world champion, former Olympic gold medalist, and to do it on such a stage where Anthony Joshua was a superstar as well. I mean, like, he sold out the O2, twice.
Absolutely.
I think. So, I think Jake is setting himself up for, a huge spectacle, and which is, kind of smart. If you're going to go big, why not go to the highest of the mountain? Why not? And I get it. That's what you call business right there. And I've seen a lot of guys calling them out, from like Gabe to, other guys who are boxers. Yeah, like guys who actually beat them. But why would he settle for those guys when he could fight Anthony Joshua? So I think that's, I think that's smart. I think that's super smart.
Smart is one thing. What do you think happens in the ring, though, champ?
I think he gets hurt for sure. I think he gets obliterated. Something close to like Francis Ngannou. I think something like that happens, and it's going to be bad for him. But there will be a lot of...
Andrew Tate keeps his message clear and straightforward as he responds to the matchup. He says Jake has stepped into a very big moment and deserves credit for doing it. Tate respects the level of danger Jake is accepting and notes that most people would never enter a ring with someone as strong and experienced as Joshua. For Tate, the outcome is not the main point. What matters is that Jake is testing himself against a top fighter and showing a kind of drive that very few athletes, influencer or not, are willing to show. Tate's reaction focuses on courage instead of prediction, and he believes Jake's choice alone is enough to earn respect.
Before I let you go, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, your thoughts on this fight? And Mega One?
Yeah, huge respect to Jake. I mean, we all know what should happen on paper, but it's boxing. So huge respect to Jake.
Sean Ali, a professional mixed martial artist and bantamweight fighter in the UFC, shared honest concern for his friend Jake Paul ahead of the December 19th main event in South Florida. Speaking on the Bro Ali show, he admitted that facing Anthony Joshua is frightening. Ali explained that being knocked out by someone with Joshua's power can lead to serious long-term effects, not just career damage. He said Jake's decision to enter the ring against such a strong heavyweight is absolutely crazy and highlighted the real danger and high risk involved in this matchup.
Scared for Jake Paul. All right, great. You know what? Thank you, Sean. And now that's my phrase. I'm going to steal that from you from this moment. I'm going to use it going forward because I didn't know how to describe my feeling about this fight, but I just got it. I'm glad I thought of it right after I read Sean O'Malley said it. Sean went on to say, there's certain punches, there's certain knockouts, there's certain concussions, there's certain ass whippings, there's certain beatings that are not equal to others. They're the kind of knockouts, of punches, of concussions, of ass whippings, and of beatings that change your life. They change lives. And O'Malley didn't elaborate on what that meant. But I know what he meant. I know what he meant. There is a confidence that a person has. From the guy that walks down the street, the most confident, he walks in the room and he's the man and he gets to live his life feeling that way and people will treat him that way. All the way down to the coward who walks his wife like he's weak, who handles everything sheepishly. But one thing those two guys have in common is that neither of them actually knows where they stand. Neither of them has actually tested that theory. They got all the rest of society to go along with it. Therefore, they don't.
Sonnen provides a detailed explanation of why he sees the matchup heavily favoring Joshua. He highlights Joshua's size, power, height, weight, reach, and years of professional experience as major advantages. Sonnen acknowledges that Jake has made progress, but notes there is no comparison between the opponents Jake has faced and the level Joshua has competed against throughout his career. He stresses that every aspect of this fight, from physical traits to mental readiness, favors Joshua. Sonnen's breakdown is purely factual, leaving out emotion and clearly showing the significant gap between the two fighters.
Performance. What if Jake makes it 5 rounds, 6 rounds? What if Jake made it to the distance? What if Jake won a round? Now, it's very hard to believe. It's very hard to imagine. I think it's the big struggle with this fight. I cannot, off the top of my head, produce a fight for you in any form of unarmed combat that drew, that was exciting, where the audience did not have a reasonable expectation, an expectation to some degree that, well, if he does this or that, there is a way for this guy to win. And that's usually pretty easy to do because nobody knows anything about fighting. Nobody watching this right now, none of you, my millions of viewers, not one of you has ever boxed. Not one of you knows someone in the family. Well, my dad was a boxer. My uncle was a boxer. No, you don't. Not only are you not a boxer, you don't even know of a boxer. Now, I only share that because when I come out and say nobody knows what they're talking about when they're talking about boxing, like, it's not meant to be an insult. You don't know anything about boxing. It was never taught to you. None of you in recess boxed. None of your junior highs, your high schools, your colleges, your community colleges offered boxing. Your hometown didn't have a boxing gym. And really think about that. Because as much as you love the sport and as much as you think that you understand it, not only do you not understand it, you can't even have a conversation with other people who do because they don't understand it. So what is a win? I think that time counts. I think that time is a very big deal. You're in that little bitty ring, and I know a guy can run backwards, but running backwards is not illegal in boxing. It is.
Chris Algieri takes a careful approach based on his knowledge of Joshua's usual style. He explains that Joshua adjusts his strategy depending on the threat in front of him. Against dangerous opponents, Joshua remains measured, but against less experienced or smaller fighters, he delivers the kind of dominant performance fans expect. Algieri believes this pattern fits the Jake Paul fight perfectly. He thinks Joshua won't take unnecessary risks, but when he chooses to attack, he typically finishes with precision and power. Algieri emphasizes that fans should not be misled. Joshua has always handled mismatches effectively, and he expects that to continue. He also points out that this consistency makes Joshua predictable in the most effective way.
As an elite heavyweight. Do you understand the analogy I'm getting to, Chris? Yeah, and I agree. And but listen, Joshua's done this already. He fought a guy that he was supposed to destroy,
right?
And then he went out there and he destroyed him. And he didn't play with his food. Yep. He didn't say, okay, it was Ngannou I'm talking about, obviously.
Of course.
Who gave Tyson Fury fits and really had everyone questioning Tyson Fury's ability because he struggled with an MMA fighter in his pro boxing debut. Anthony Joshua didn't do that. He went out there and did what we all expected Tyson Fury to do and completely wiped the floor with the guy. And if Joshua doesn't do that this fight, I agree with you, Jimmy. It's going to hurt his stock. It's going to hurt the way that people perceive him moving forward. And also, I think, honestly, and if he doesn't go out there and just lay into Jake Paul and end it in the first, if not second round, to me, it's gonna look fishy to me. It's gonna look like this was a setup. This was an exhibition. This wasn't a real fight. If this is a real fight, it should be over in 90 seconds because Anthony Joshua is a legit gold medalist, super heavyweight, crazy athlete, awesome power, and Jake Paul just isn't on that level in any way. And he's not in end. He's undersized. Jake Paul was fighting a cruiserweight in his last fight. He was under 200 pounds. Joshua is a legit 250 pounds with abs, and the guy punches with the right hand like a cannon.
The one advantage Jake Paul has had in previous fights, and we all know people who have worked with him, and they go, he's got natural power. He can hit pretty well for his size. Not elite, right? Not world champion, but he can hit pretty well for his size. Paulie, that one advantage that he's had in previous fights is...
Dave Allen takes a realistic and practical view of the matchup. Rather than focusing on hype or emotion, he examines Jake Paul's fight history. Allen points out that Jake has mostly faced opponents who did not challenge him with true heavyweight power or pressure. This let Jake stay calm, control distance, and manage exchanges without being forced into panic. Allen warns that Joshua will not provide that kind of comfortable environment. If Joshua comes at Jake with even half the intensity he shows against real heavyweight opponents, the fight could play out very differently from anything Jake has faced before.
He could have beat Tommy. Could he win the area lightweight title? I'm not sure. Don't know who the champion is. If I had a look, I could tell you, I'm not sure. He then boxes Nate Diaz. So he's boxed one boxer so far, if we're keeping count, and he's beat none. Then he boxes Andre August, who I believe was a pro, and this is now at 14-3, so he's now actually a cruiserweight. Andre August, I'm not sure. Ryan Borland, 17-2. Again, I'm not sure. But fair play, he's beat two boxers here. Beat two boxers, what can I say? He then fights Mike Perry, who is an MMA fighter, bare knuckle boxer. He's not a glove boxer. He then fights Mike Tyson, which was...
Dave Allen looks at the matchup with a practical and realistic perspective. Instead of hype or emotion, he focuses on Jake Paul's fight record. Allen notes that Jake has mainly faced opponents who did not test him with genuine heavyweight power or constant pressure. This allowed Jake to remain composed, control distance, and handle exchanges without panic. Allen cautions that Joshua will not offer that kind of ease. If Joshua attacks with even a portion of the intensity he uses against true heavyweight fighters, the fight could unfold in a way Jake has never experienced.
People are saying, AJ's grabbing the bag. There's nothing wrong with that because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So, yep. And some people are suggesting it might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I don't know what he's doing unless they have done some sort of caveat or some sort of agreement that he says he's going to go easy on him or he's not going to go flat out. But I've been tossing this up and down in my mind and trying to figure how and under God, when he had agreed to fight someone like Tank Davis, who is several divisions below him, that's more like